The Sky6 is a planetarium program that helps us to visualize the night sky at our particular time and at our particular location on Earth. It also connects to the telescope control system and allows us to move the telescope around from within this program. So today I'm going to show you some of the main features that you might like to know if you're going to be using our telescope with the sky. And I'll begin by pointing out that the telescope is already showing up in the window of the Sky6. That's because I have already connected the telescope to the Sky program. Let me actually disconnect it so that I can show you how I did that. I'm going to push on this red telescope here. That disconnects this program from our telescope. And then when I click on the green telescope, I'll connect it back up again. And then you can see the telescope again. So if you ever open the sky and you want to see where the telescope is, you just click on that green telescope and it will take you there. So as you can see, there are lots of objects that are shown on here. And one of the first things that you might like to do is you might like to just go and see what some object, you might want to take the telescope to some other point in the sky. So it's very easy to do that. I just clicked on this red object here. It happens that all of the red dots are asteroids. And this is asteroid 6735 Mad Hatter. If I want to go to that object, this window pops up when I click on it. And then I go to the green telescope, click it. A window will come up to say that says confirm slew, meaning do you really want to go to this object? If I click OK, then a new window will come up letting me know that the telescope is slewing or moving to the object, and you can actually watch the crosshairs as they move across the sky to go to that object. Now let's say that you had a particular asteroid in mind and you didn't know where it was in the sky. So I'm going to cheat here. And I'm going to go to asteroid 3272 in a moment. So I'll go back over here. So let's say you didn't know where that asteroid was. Well, you can simply push the F button on your keyboard and then put in 3272. I just typed that in on my keyboard and up came this window with 3272 then filled in. So now I can slew again if I want to, although I don't think I will, and I can move to the object that I'm interested in. Let me do that again. I'm gonna search for M33. So I'm pushing F on my keyboard and then I'm typing M33 and pushing return. And when I do that, M33 comes up in this object information window. The reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted to show you some of the other cool features up here. If you click on the well, first of all, under the General tab, it gives you all sorts of information about M33, the magnitude, the rate ascension and declination at this moment, and the rate ascension and declination as of 2000. Why are those two things different? Well, the Earth's axis is precessing, and so the right ascension and declination coordinates are tied to the Earth's axis, and so if that's changing, then these coordinates are changing over time as well. And sometimes it's useful to measure right ascension and declination in terms of what it looked like in the year 2000. Sometimes it's more convenient to have it in the present, so they have both of those on here. There are some other bits of information that tend to be useful. When the object rises and sets is a good thing to know. The transit time is when it crosses the meridian or is at its highest point in the sky. This tells you that it's a spiral galaxy. It's in the Messier catalog, and there's a bunch of other information down here as well. If you go to multimedia, sometimes it'll show you a picture of the object, and that can be a nice thing. And then the last thing is, if you click over here on the telescope tab, You can sync the telescope to this object. So let's suppose that you move to M33 and you take an image of it and you find that M33 is not centered on the camera chip. Well, you might take the hand paddle then and carefully center M33 or put it on the chip where you want it to be. And then you might like to tell the Sky6 program that actually this is the position that the telescope needs to be in order for M33 to be centered. Well, at that point, if you want to give that information to the sky, you can click on this telescope tab and push sync, and it will then make those changes within the program so that it knows that now it's really pointed toward M33. You have to be very careful with this tab because right now I have clicked on M33 because I'm interested in that object, but the telescope is actually still over here at this asteroid. So if I were to click sync right now, this program would move the crosshairs to M33 and it would think that the telescope was now pointed at M33. And you can take a moment to imagine what a disaster that would be, because of course the telescope isn't pointed at M33, it's pointed at this asteroid. So I only click on this tab when I am ready to sync, and then I immediately move away from it so I don't make that mistake. It's an easy mistake to make, and so you have to be careful about that. There are a few other things that you can do within this program that are sort of nice. One of them is that you can, if you want to click on this button, it centers the window on the object that you're interested in. At the moment, I think I'll just center on a location that's pretty close to the telescope. And now I want to show you how to zoom in. If you push this plus magnifying glass button, then you will zoom in. And this is really nice because here's my telescope, and I'm just gonna center on the telescope and zoom in some more. If I zoom in, eventually I get to this point where I get this funny looking thing here. And in fact, this funny looking thing gives you a sense of the field of view of the camera. I'm sorry to say that this is actually the field of view of our old camera, and I haven't yet changed this to represent the field of view of our new camera, but it's not too far off. So the field of view of the new camera probably looks something like this. It's a little bit bigger, but it's about the same size. And this is a nice thing to do if you've moved to an object and you image it and you want to compare your image to what you see here in the planetarium program. And if things are going well, then the image on the camera and what you see here should be about the same. Notice that the telescope is kind of drifting away from the object that I originally had pointed to. And the reason for this is that at the moment, telescope tracking is off. If I had telescope tracking on, then I would hope that the telescope would stay right here at its original position. So if I want to get out of that, I just can push the minus magnifying glass button and I will get back out. If you're using a PC mouse, you can also use the roller ball to do this. So what else? There are a few other kind of nice things that you can do. Right now we can just only see part of the sky. You might like to see the whole thing. So if you go to view full screen, you can see the whole thing, and that's sort of nice. Actually, if I click the up arrow and do that again, it'll be even better. Let me try that one more time. And there it is. That's looking much better. There was something else I wanted to show as well, but I have forgotten what it is. Oh yes, there's one other really cool feature that you can use on this planetarium program. So I'm actually going to disconnect communication with our telescope before I do this. So if you go up to data and time, it'll bring up this window, and you can actually change the time for this planetarium program. So you can do that just by dragging the hands on this clock around. So let me take time forward to 2 a.m. Or, well, 1 a.m. we'll do it. That's fine. Why would I want to know, why would I want to change the time to 1 a.m.? Well, let's say that it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you would like to know where some asteroid is going to be at 1 o'clock in the morning. You can simply go into the Sky program, change the time, and if this is the asteroid you're interested in, 3841 DeChico, then you can click on that asteroid and it will give you the right ascension and declination at that particular time. Let's say that I change my mind and I actually want to know where DeChico is at 11 a.m. Well, in that case, the coordinates actually haven't changed on here. Let's change that to p.m. 11 p.m. And so what I have to do is click away from DeChico and then come back to it, and it will give me the right ascension and declination at this time. This is very useful if you're trying to set up an automated run and you want to take images of an asteroid and you want to know where that object is going to be at a particular time. Once you're done fiddling around and getting the coordinates you want, you should click this button here, which will take you back to the current time. And then, and only then, should you connect back to the telescope. While the telescope is connected, it's not a good idea to change the time on here. And the reason for that is that you can confuse the Sky program and make it think that the telescope has run down to the horizon, which is not a good thing. So just don't change the time while the telescope is connected. Disconnect the telescope, then you can play around with the sky, look at what's happening at different times, and only after you go back to the original time should you reconnect the telescope. I think that's it for the Sky 6. Thanks for listening.